Hi, I'm Parker Powers from American Income Life, a division of Globe. I spoke with you about your benefits through Clayton Slaughter. Is Mary there?
Yes, this is Joe.
Okay, well, great. I have your benefits right here. I do really love to have me using Zoom. It does make things go by a lot faster. So don't worry, Joe and Mary. No, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So let me go ahead and get started while I'm getting some of this set up. Let's learn a little bit about each other. How long you guys originally from Texas?
Yes, we are.
Whereabouts?
Houston?
Oh, okay. I have a bunch of family in Houston.
Okay.
Are you guys on like the north or south side?
North side.
Okay, whereabout?
We are in Kingwood.
Oh, all right. I'm in the woodlands, so not too far.
All right.
You guys have kids in the area too, grown or younger, still in the house?
We do. We have two kids.
Okay, what are the ages?
Ben and Abby.
Ben and Abby,
I don't know
awesome.
their names.
How old are
Ben
they?
was Ben was born in 2007.
What
So,
about Abby?
2010.
Okay, so you guys definitely got a handful, right?
Right.
Yeah, most definitely. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna get some more things situated and we'll get going. You guys got any good plans on this Sunday? Or you're kind of just relaxing?
We're just relaxing.
Yeah, I can understand that. And Joe, if you don't mind me asking, what's your date of birth?
My date of birth is 5/17 of 77.
Give me 1 second, get that written in here for you. You said 77, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Once again, I'm gonna skip through these videos for you. I know you probably don't want to watch any of these, especially on a Sunday.
At AIL, not a problem.
Hold on here. You guys had a good weekend so far?
Yeah, it's going. Can't complain. The weather's been nice.
Yeah, the weather has. We definitely needed it.
Right.
All right. Well, we're all situated. What we can do is, of course, what we'll do is we'll jump right into your first no cost benefit. Now, I know you guys, probably by now, even after that small tech, you're probably dying to know. So let me kind of tell you exactly why I'm visiting with you and then what I'm going to do. So, my job is to go over some of those no cost benefits, of course, which have already been set up for you. Then I'm going to go over some additional benefits that you must qualify for. Now, so my company, American Income, we've worked with over 20,000 different local labor unions, credit unions, and associations throughout the entire United States. And whether you like unions or you don't, the thing we really can't all agree on is they do provide the best benefits. Now, the reasoning behind that is because of their relationship with American Income for the past 60 plus years. We're actually about to be going on 70. So, as you can imagine, even on a Sunday, they do have me run around like crazy. So let me go ahead and get started and we'll jump right into some of those no cost benefits.
All right.
Now, Joe and Mary, your first no cost benefit is the Child Safe ID Kit mobile app, which of course is endorsed by the International Union of Police Associations. Now, I'm sure you guys know a bunch of families with kids, right?
Yeah, we have some family, friends that have kids.
Well, did you guys actually know that Texas leads the nation in abductions? And did you know that 93% of those children that aren't found in the first 24 hours are never found? Now,
Wow,
that's
that's crazy.
honestly exactly why they decided to create the most comprehensive app of its kind to help find a missing child. Now, imagine if your child went missing. Can you see how important this would be?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, being the endorsed company by the International Union of Police Associations, they're asking that you refer at least 5 families for this app. Now, I know you mentioned you knew families with children, and I know everyone always was put down dozens and dozens of names, but let's just start with people who are close to you. Who's the first that comes to mind?
My brother Thomas
Thomas, okay. And what's his last name?
Miller,
And a good telephone for Thomas?
267
267
431
431.
7692.
7692. All right. And the second?
Let's put down Will.
Will.
Um,
Okay.
Will Jordan.
Jordan. All right. Good telephone for Will.
376
376
928
928
7721.
7721. All right. Anyone else?
That's all I can think of at the moment.
All right. Well, if you think of any more while we're going through the presentation, at the end, of course, we can make sure that they get this and we can get in contact with them so they get the Child Safe app.
All right.
So, next, Joe and Mary, is the free will and testament kit that you did request. Now, have you guys had a chance to, establish a final will and testament?
Yes, we actually do have a will set in place.
You do?
We do.
Okay. Let me mark that here for you.
So how long is this gonna take?
This won't take long at all. If it's okay with you guys, I'll give you the quick version. How's that?
All right, that will work.
All right. So, Joe and Mary, your next no cost benefit is that honestly, one of my actual favorites. I have to admit, all of our members do love it. It's the AIL Plus discount card. Now, how are both of you guys' benefits through work?
Mine are pretty good. It seems like it's covering, let's say we probably have 800 to 900,000.
Okay. So I will say, you guys are going to absolutely love this. So, I am sure, by now that, you can't rely on those group benefits. So, of course, you don't control them and they can change at any time. So what this no cost benefit does, it helps with some of those gaps by giving you up to an 85% discount on things like dental, vision, prescription drugs, hearing aids, telemedicine, and even chiropractic services. Now, listen, your membership does require an annual renewal, but that's also a no cost to you. And, we'll let you know when it's time to renew. You won't even have to think about it. People do, they always tell me they, didn't think they'd use it much, but they actually find themselves using it all the time. So again, at no cost to you, it's good to get that extra peace of mind. So what you'll receive is an activation email within the next couple of days. So just make sure you're on the lookout for that.
Okay.
And so the next no cost benefit is the accidental death and dismemberment certificate. So, Joe, this is a living benefit that pays you $2,000 for the loss of one hand, one foot, or sight in one eye, and double that amount, or $4,000 for the loss of any two. Now, Mary, for you, this is a death benefit that would pay you $4,000 should Joe die accidentally, God forbid. Now, I know that, that $4,000, it doesn't seem like a lot of money in this world. And, truthfully, it's not. But, if Joe were to die, his paycheck would die with him. And I'd imagine, that'd put a crunch on your budget, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
So, I mean, you can definitely see how this would help, right?
Yeah, I could see why
Okay.
this is in place.
Well, let me go ahead and email you a certificate for your records. So what you'll do is you'll receive a green certificate in the mail, and you want to fill it out completely and send it to the PO box at the top just to ensure that you're covered.
Okay.
So again, one more thing I need to do is to put 2 emergency contacts on here in the event you were both to die together in a common accident. Now, of course, it would be wise if they live in Texas, they're over the age of 18, and of course are living outside of your home. So Joe and Mary, who's the first emergency contact that comes to mind?
Let's go ahead and put my brother down for the emergency contact.
And that's Thomas?
Correct. And then we'll do my wife's sister, Tammy Jones.
Tammy Jones. Okay. And a good telephone for Tammy?
251
251
367
367
3392.
3392. All right. So, now, when something does happen, you will need our local office number. So, Joe and Mary, do you mind pulling out your phone for me real quick?
Yeah, I have it right here.
Okay. So just open up, where you can type in a number, and that office number is 832-327-0800. Again, it's 327-0800. Now,
All right.
so your family, gets the benefits they are entitled to, I'm going to be calling your emergency contacts personally. It won't be anybody else, so they know what to do in the event of a claim. Now, if you could, please just give them a heads up that they'll be hearing from me. In addition, if they choose, they will also have access to all of this. Of course, thanks to you.
All right.
So now, Joe, this policy is just on you. But the second part of this benefit is that you can extend this to your closest family members and friends at no cost to you and no cost to them. So basically how this works, let's say, God forbid, you were to die in an accident. And let's say Thomas were to die in an accident. Now, a $2,000 policy, just like yours, will pay out to his or her family at no cost to you and no cost to Thomas and his family. So all you're doing is giving them the option to take advantage of this, just like you did. Now, the ability to extend this is tied to my visit with you today because of your enrollment period. So it's important not to prejudge anyone's situation and let them decide for themselves as you are today. So now they do give you $20,000 worth of this benefit, which means you can send it up to 10 families. So, obviously your emergency contacts will be included. So
Okay.
Thomas and Tammy, of course, but that also will give you 8 other spots that they can benefit from this as well. So, you mentioned you guys knew families and the kids with, families with kids in the area, right?
Yeah, we do, but I don't know if I feel comfortable giving out their information.
Listen, I can understand you not being comfortable. I would think you're crazy if you were. I mean, I don't give numbers over the phone either. What I'll ask you to do is, we'll go through this and you'll get a better understanding of why over 20,000 different groups trust American Income with their policies. And then towards the end of it, if you think of some people and you kind of can give me a rating at the end, you can tell me how I did. We can go from there. How's that sound?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
So again, Joe, just make sure you give, these families, especially your emergency contacts, a call or a text. Just let them know that I'll be calling them the next few days. That was, as long as they have a heads up, they are really happy. But if I call them, they don't know who I am or why I'm calling. Sometimes they can kind of get confused, and we definitely don't want them being upset with the both of us, right?
Yeah, no, I could understand that for sure.
All right. So, please, 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 just give them a text and then we can make sure of that, right, Joe?
Right.
All right. I appreciate it. So, Joe and Mary, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into reviewing those exclusive benefits that you must qualify for. Now, all of the families that I see, they love this part of the program. It is why 20,000 different groups handpicked American Income to handle their permanent and portable benefits for the past 60 plus years. Now, next time you are at your group or association, make sure you thank them for getting this all set up for you.
All right. Definitely will at the next union meeting.
So, firstly, what we're going to start with is the needs analysis software. Now, the reason most people don't have the right coverage is, of course, they don't know what they need. Now, in a few minutes, and after I review this with you, you'll definitely know where you're at. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions to see where you're at. But before I do, let me show you my license information here in the state of Texas, just so you know that I'm a licensed professional to handle these kinds of benefits. And before I jump into the survey, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary qualification questions just to review with you.
Okay.
So give me one moment here. I'm going to share my screen with you just so you can see my license. Can you see that, Joe and Mary?
Yes, I can. Can you
So
scroll down a little bit?
I'm going to keep scrolling down here for you just so you can see all of it. Let me know if I'm moving too fast.
Perfect. All right.
All right. So you can see I'm a licensed professional, right?
Yes. If you
Okay.
are Parker Powers, right?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
So I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick. Hold on here. So now I'm going to ask those preliminary questions. That first one is, you must be a member of an authorized group or sponsored in by someone who is. Of course, you guys were sponsored in. Now, that second question is you guys must have an active checking account with a bank or credit union. Joe and Mary, do you guys have a checking account either with a bank or a credit union?
Yes, we bank through a credit union.
Okay. And that third one is, has anyone in the household, been diagnosed with COVID-19 virus in the past? And if so, when?
No, we've lucked out and we haven't caught COVID.
Oh, awesome. So everyone's in good health, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, isn't that great? You gotta definitely, it's easy to get, especially during all that COVID times. I know most of my family was able not to get it as well, but I had a lot of friends who it can be a hard time.
Yeah, for sure. We'll take you down.
Yeah, it will. But what I'll do is we're gonna run through that needs analysis real quick. So I'm just gonna get some information from you and ask you a couple questions, and then we can go from there. Because you do have to qualify for the needs analysis as well. So after we just answer these brief questions, we can get it going. How's that?
Um, okay. Yeah.
And again, Joe, what's a good email for you?
Um, joe.miller@gmail.com.
Okay. Make sure I get all this in there correct for you. And a good telephone?
261
261
675
675
6889.
6889. And a good address?
Tall Tree Lane, and that was Kingwood, Texas.
Tall Tree Lane. And you said Kingwood, right?
Correct.
And what's the zip code for Kingwood?
77621.
77621. Okay. All right, let me get this checked for you. 1 second here. It's loading back in.
Not a problem.
Oh, so it looks like the system switched on me real quick. Hold on here. Let's see. All right, and put Mary's information in here too. And Mary, what's your birthday?
My birthday is 7. Oh, I'm sorry. It is 6/4,
6/4.
1982.
Okay. And you said 1982, right? Just to check.
Correct.
Okay. Let me get that in here for you. All right, so now I'm just going to ask you some quick questions and just to see that how the needed analysis will go about this. So has either of you had internal cancer in the past 2 years, breast, colon, pancreatic, uterus,
No.
insulin, diabetes,
Nope.
cardiovascular disease, heart attack, stroke, peripheral vascular disease,
No.
currently using oxygen?
Yes, we're breathing.
Okay, I can understand that. So terminal illnesses,
No.
Alzheimer's,
No.
any use of tobacco in the last 12 months?
Yes, my wife smokes.
Okay. And is she smokes regularly?
Yes.
Okay. Currently on probation or parole?
No.
Arrested or convicted of a DUI?
No.
Okay. So just, a ballpark figure. We're almost done with a few of these questions. What's kind of the ballpark, figure for, your salary, Joe, that you take home every month?
I should be around $3,200.
3,200. And Mary, what about for you?
Mary does not work. She's a stay-at-home
Stay-at-home
mom.
mom? Okay. And do you guys currently have a life insurance, or especially you, Joe, through work?
Yes, I do have some insurance through work.
You do? And is it life insurance?
Yes.
Okay, and what's that total amount that you have through work?
50,000.
50,000.
And
And do you guys have any life insurance outside of work?
Mary has a $10,000 whole life policy, from when she was a child.
Right. And are you guys currently, renting, or do you own your home?
We own our home.
Okay. And of course, what's kind of the ballpark figure of the balance on the mortgage?
I think we owe around 120,000.
120,000. And do you know the years remaining on that?
I believe it's 24 years.
24 years. Okay. Now, do you guys currently have any, insurance that, will cover that, if something happens to you, to cover your mortgage in case of death?
We do not.
Okay. And have you guys had the opportunity to start saving for your children's college education just yet?
No, we haven't.
No.
We
Okay.
should.
Yeah, no, I know it's definitely it can be hard to find that right time, but you got to do it when it's most financially sustainable for everyone, right?
Right.
Give me 1 second here.
Problem.
We're gonna load this through the system. System can be a little slow sometimes.
I can understand that.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to give me 1 second here. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys again, just so you guys can see the mandatory read-off letter. They do make me show this, so of course, just give me 1 second here.
Okay.
Hold on, Zoom's coming up. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. 1 second. Hold on here. And it's still up, isn't it? You guys can still see it?
Yes.
Okay,
I can.
good. Hold on here. Getting everything in place. Sometimes even me, so I'm struggling with the computers.
All right. Um, you're lucky we even got on Zoom.
Yeah, I know it can be pretty hard sometimes. But before I go any further, it does look like the needs analysis found some gaps in you guys' current coverage. So as I mentioned, I have to show you this mandatory read-off letter for you. Just explains, how the enrollment process works. And now, Joe and Mary, instead of me reading this all out to you, if it's okay with you, I'll just summarize what it's saying. How's that?
All right.
Well, so, basically what it is saying is, so as I'm going through the benefits, you're nodding your head, you're thinking, wow, these are some great benefits. And I can see why 20,000 different groups approve this and why everyone's doing it. Then what I'll do is I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and apply today. Now, on the flip side, I'm going through the benefits and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I'm just don't really see the need and I don't think we could really use them. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you not to apply today. Now, either way, yes or no, that decision does need to be made today during your service period. Now, this is, of course, to the fairness of the other members waiting in line that we can also speak to. So what you'll see is that we did make this, a no-brainer. It's going to be an easy yes or no. Now, Joe and Mary, does that all make sense?
Yes. I think we got
Okay.
it.
So, whatever you do decide, they, do want you to go into your opinion, kind of give me a Google review, which is, of course, kind of my report card to see how I'm doing. I try to get a 5-star rating every time. So it's important to stop me if you guys have any questions or concerns. Now, again, does that all make sense?
Yes.
Joe, will you stop me if you have any questions?
I will.
Mary, will you do the same?
She said yes.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen with you guys real quick. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to skip over these videos again. I know trying to give you guys a quick version, which I think you'll appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting hungry.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I haven't had too much to eat today, so you gotta get it in when you can, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Weather wasn't it was nicer yesterday, but it wasn't too bad today.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. We got out, did some yard work.
Oh, there you guys go. You in the garden, or how did you guys have it going on?
Yeah, just getting the flower beds together.
Hold on here. There we go. Everything's loading back in. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share my screen again. So, as over the years, we have contract negotiations we've gone through and benefit changes all through work. So, it can be, give and take. So, with those changes, lately it does seem like we're paying a lot more, but we're getting a lot less. So, what the Company and Labor Advisory Board has done is that's 50 international union presidents whose main job is to provide the best wages and benefits for their members. Now, of course, from all of their feedback, along with the feedback from the members themselves, just like you, they came up with a list of concerns that apply to all working families, whether they're union or not. So let me share my screen with you and we'll go over some of those concerns.
All right.
1 second here. Hold on. Get everything up and running. There we go. Hold on here. Can you guys see all that?
Yes.
Okay, so that first concern, is co-pays, deductibles, and lost wages. So health insurance, it pays the doctors, but members lose wages due to time off work and out-of-pocket expenses.
Okay.
Now that second concern is funeral and final expenses. So many families, don't have that $14,000 to $20,000 for those final expenses, and of course, don't want to pay out of pocket initially. So funeral homes usually want to be paid right away, and most insurance companies have 31 to up to 6 months to pay out those policies, and so those out-of-pocket expenses can get extremely high.
Okay.
So now the third, of course, is paycheck loss. When a member dies, their paycheck usually dies with them. As I mentioned, Mary, if Joe were to die, him not having that paycheck come in could probably put a crunch on that budget, right?
Right.
So now we're going to move into the fourth, which is, mortgage and rent protection. So, families may lose their home after a sudden death of a breadwinner. And of course, this can be a huge benefit. Now, the fifth is children's protection, excuse me. Now, benefits provided through a job, they're typically not permanent for children, which can create a major risk. And an unexpected death could jeopardize future educational opportunities for both of your children. And now the sixth, of course, is terminal illness, especially cancer. Now, according to the American Cancer Society, men have a 1 in 2 lifetime chance of developing or dying from cancer. And for women, it's 1 in 3. But that 1 in 3 actually goes up to 1 in 2 after the age of 65. So medical expenses are the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States. And now seventh is group benefits. Now, those group benefits, they are great, but of course, as I mentioned, you're not really in control of them and they can change at any time. So, members lose those benefits at retirement or if they experience a long illness before death. And now eighth, the most important is affordability. Now, the cost to take care of all these concerns on the open market is not affordable for many of the families, and waiting can even increase this cost even more. Now, potentially, a member may not qualify, of course, due to some of their health concerns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick, and we'll continue on with the presentation. So, as I mentioned, that last concern is affordability. Now to, take care of all of these concerns, it's usually just far too expensive. Now, since we sit down with people making, $7 an hour, some even making, $77 an hour, some are working, tons of overtime, some are retired or laid off. But, regardless of that situation, they wanted me to make this as affordable for everybody. And so the way they set it up, Joe, let's imagine, your boss comes up to you at work and he tells you, that things have been going really great. They're going super well, but, they're going to start paying you for 41 hours of work instead of 40. Now, with that 1 hour, Are you and Mary going to go out and say, "Oh, I think it's time for our dream house," or "It's time for matching Ferraris"?
I don't think so.
No, right? Are you going to call a travel agent and book your dream vacation?
No.
No, right? So, now on that flip side, let's say, work slow, things aren't going that great. And your boss comes up to you and he tells you that instead of laying you off, or laying off some of your coworkers, now they just would let everyone go home an hour early every Friday. So you'd be working 39 hours instead of that 40. Now, would you get rid of your car or one of your iPhone or Android, cancel like your TV subscription?
No, definitely not.
No, right, exactly. So, the idea is that 1 hour isn't going to change your lifestyle. So that's exactly why they set it up this way. So let me show you what that 1 hour takes care of, how it takes care of all of your concerns. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to pull up a little illustration for you.
All right.
Go. Hold on here. Man, Zoom's being real slow for me today.
Is it?
Here we go. So I'm going to basically give you guys an illustration of a job A and job B. And so give me 1 second here. I'm going to skip through these videos for you. Let me stop sharing real quick. Got the videos coming up again.
All right.
The warmth.
I know you guys definitely don't want to watch these.
Yeah.
Everyone dreams.
There we go. I'm going to share a portion of my screen with you. So again, as just to clarify, Joe, you said you were making $3,200, correct? A month?
Yes.
Relatively, that's about, $800 per week.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
So let's see, if you're doing 3,200. So basically, that 1 hour wage difference would be about $780, right?
Right.
So basically, this will be 1 second. Will be about 100. Going to give you the best illustration I can.
Right.
Here, let me stop sharing again. It's kind of don't want it to be too slow for me.
Problem.
You guys can't see that anymore?
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me get it pulled back up. I really am struggling with Zoom today. Hold on here.
No problem.
Okay. And you guys can see this?
Yes.
Okay. So as you can see, the accident or output care is 100, 200 for the accident or hospital benefit, 400, of course, for intensive care, $10,000 to $20,000, as we mentioned, for loss of one hand, foot, sight, and one eye, or the combination of the two. 20,000 to 100,000, depending on the accidental death benefit, which of course depended on the accident. And of course, you each get $30,000 on, of course, that freedom of choice, which is those upfront expenses, as we talked about, for those funeral costs.
Okay.
And now we're going to go over some of your guaranteed income benefits. You'll give me 1 second here. Let me pull this back up.
Now, are you gonna try to sell us something?
No, so what my job is I'm just going to review these benefits with you, and of course leave that decision up to you guys. It's just my job to see as the the needs analysis can find gaps in your current coverage, but of course that's not always completely accurate to the cost. I'm not gonna try to flip you or sell you on anything. I just want to make you aware, so then again you guys can make that decision for your family.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here. So it looks like it's not giving you any income protection. Nothing from this, nothing for college. Hold on here. Okay, let me pull this back up for you. Just had to go check my notes in for you to make sure what the needs analysis pulled out for you. So as you can see now, it's giving you all these options up here. Of course, nothing for it doesn't give you need, guaranteed income benefit, spouse income benefit, mortgage or rent, of course, children's college fund, children's life insurance, terminal illness benefit, or of course, the spouse's terminal illness benefit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share you guys my full screen here so you can just see all of it. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, that first benefit, it's covering your entire family due to any sort of accident. Like I said before, health insurance and group benefits are great, but of course they don't cover everything. So as you can see, this program pays you up to $100 every time you go into a doctor, urgent care, or hospital for any accident or injury, whether that's a bump, a bruise, or a bee sting. Now, if you end up overnight in the hospital, it'll pay you $200 per day, and now double that for intensive care of $400 per day. So let's say you have an accident, you end up in the hospital for 5 days. So by having this in place, it would pay you $1,000 completely tax-free. And now considering that you're not working and making money, this will help take care of those upfront bills. Now, on top of that, as you can see, you'll get $10,000 for the loss of one hand, foot, or sight in one eye, and double that, or $20,000 for the loss of any two. Now, that last part of the benefit, it provides an additional $20,000 to $100,000 of accidental death benefit. Now, depending on that type of accident, of course. Now, as you can see with your current job, Joe, none of this is covered.
Right. Wow.
Now, the next concern has to do with your funeral and final expenses. There's 100% chance that you'll use this one. Now, the Freedom of Choice certificate, this will take care of that financial burden so your family doesn't have to. Now, the FOC has already been set up with every funeral home in the nation. Now, your Freedom of Choice certificate is worth $30,000. Now, the funeral home director will simply call the number on the front of the certificate, and American Income will take care of everything else for you, including sending the remaining money to your family tax-free. So they're using a permanent benefit to fund your freedom of choice. That way, if it's not a when and not an if, your family needs it. So Mary, on the worst day of your life, you can see how this would make things a lot easier for you, right?
Right.
Right. Now, see, as you can see, you don't have anything like this in place. So let's see here. Now, of course, unlike your group benefits, Joe, which you can lose, these benefits are permanent and portable. So if you leave your job, you retire, you decide to leave the union, Joe, you keep these. Now, in addition, if you are on a qualified layoff, they'll cover these benefits for you for 3 months if you're ever in a situation where you have a qualified strike. Now, it can be up to 12 months. Now, this way, you and your family won't lose the benefits when you really need them the most. And by the way, You never have to pay them back.
Okay.
So, Joe and Mary, now that I've reviewed everything with you, I'm sure you guys can see by now why 20,000 different groups chose this program above all others and why more families have our program than any other companies. Now, that's because of the value and the full circle protection it provides. I mean, Joe, if something were to happen to you like a bad car accident, would your excuse me, your family would receive, let's see here, $370,000 tax-free, all for about 1 hour's wage per week. Now, with your current job, there is no guarantee that your family would receive anything at all. So, Joe and Mary, let me ask you this. If you went into work tomorrow and you had to choose between job A and job B, which are you going to take?
Probably job B.
Now, why would you do that if you're making more money over there at job A?
Because of the benefits, right?
Look, see, that's what everyone says. I told you this would be a no-brainer, right?
Right.
So, here's the next section. Everyone wants these benefits, but not everyone can get them. So as I mentioned before, I do have to see if you'll be qualified first. So let me run you through these questions and let's see if you can qualify. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, pull up this QR health checklist for you, and then we can go over that together. Hold on here, make this so it's big so we can see it. So we'll start with this first one. Has any of the pros insured ever been treated or advised to be treated for alcoholism or alcohol abuse, including membership in AA, or been advised by a physician to reduce alcohol consumption?
No.
Has any proposed insured ever used drugs not prescribed by a physician, such as cocaine, amphetamines, barbiturates, and hallucinogens, tranquilizers, narcotics, or sedatives?
No.
No. Has any proposed insured ever had their driver's license suspended or revoked because of moving violation or being arrested, including arrest for driving while intoxicated or under the influence?
No.
Has any proposed insurers flown within the last 2 years or intend to fly in the future as other than a passenger or on a scheduled airline? Of course, flying the actual plane.
No.
Does any proposed insured participate within the last 2 years or intend to participate in any of the following activities: auto, motorcycle, boat racing, parachute, jumping, skin, scuba, or skydiving?
No.
Has any proposed insured ever been advised to take tests and not done so, or not received the results, being diagnosed as having or receiving treatment for high blood pressure, chest pain, heart attack, stroke, or any other heart, blood, or circulatory disorder?
No.
Has any proposed insured ever or been treated for any of the following conditions: diabetes or endocrine disorder?
No.
Paralysis, epilepsy, mental disease or disorder, or any of the nervous system or brain disorder?
No.
Has you ever had, arthritis or any injury, trouble with your back, knees, or any other joints?
No.
To the best of your knowledge and belief, do you have any physical impairment or departure from good health?
Not as far as I know.
Not as far as you know?
No.
Okay. Let me pull up the next one for you. You guys can still see my screen, right?
Yes.
And again, so has any of the proposed insured ever been advised to take tests and not done so, or not received the results, been diagnosed as having received treatment for the cancer, tumor, unexplained masses?
No.
Okay. Has any of the proposed insured ever been rejected for life or medical hospital insurance, rated, or failed to receive a policy as applied for?
No.
Has any proposed insured in the last 5 years had a physical examination?
Have we had an examination?
In the last 5 years, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Had any medical treatment, includes prescription medications, been hospitalized all within the last 5 years?
No.
Any of the proposed insured currently a resident in a nursing home or being diagnosed as having terminal illness, including Alzheimer's disease?
No.
Has any proposed insured ever had been or treated for any of the following conditions: asthma, emphysema, sleep apnea, or other respiratory disorders?
No.
Ulcer, colitis, or other digestive tract disorder?
No.
cirrhosis, hepatitis, or other liver disorders, or any blood disorder, or received a bone marrow transplant?
No.
Kidney, prostate, urinary bladder, or other genitory disorders?
No.
Disease of the breast, uterus, or ovaries?
No.
Rheumatoid arthritis or any other musculatory disorder?
No.
Loss of hearing or loss of sight? You can still hear and see, right?
Yes, I can still hear and see.
Acquired immune deficiency syndrome, AIDS, AIDS-related complex, or AIDS-related conditions?
No.
Has any person insured ever tested positive for antibodies to the AIDS or HIV virus?
No.
Now, of course, Joe, I know you mentioned you did not smoke cigarettes or tobacco in other form, but of course, you said Mary smokes regularly, right?
Correct.
Okay. So if a former user of tobacco, when did she still hasn't quit, right?
No, she still currently smokes.
Has any of the participants used marijuana in the past year?
No.
Okay. So of course, this program is set up, so it does look like I can get you qualified here. Hold on here.
Right.
So I'm not an underwriter, but based on what I am seeing, even with Mary smoking, is that it does look like I should be able to get you guys qualified for these benefits, which is huge because one yes on that page can simply unqualify you. So this QR checklist is mandatory, and that's kind of why we review with all the members. Basically, it does explain the enrollment process, and the first thing the checklist talks about, of course, is the way the benefits are handled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you again. So again, as this program is set up as a once-a-month computerized deduction through your banking system. Having it done this way, of course, gains you this discounted rate. So I know, probably by now you guys have, done the math as you've probably figured out that, weekly at only being about a $20 difference, it's going to cost you around $80 per month. Now, this can be handled anytime between the 10th all the way down through the 21st. Now, Joe and Mary, what date best works for you?
Let's go with the 10th. That'll work.
10th. Okay. Get that down for you. And again, remember, this draft date, of course, it couldn't be the 29th, 30th, 31st, so we'll keep it at the 10th. And so because, this is a member-owned program, and once it is issued, it cannot be taken away by American Income or your employer. There is an application process, which is started with those health questions. In addition, this will all be signed electronically. So after we complete the application, you'll receive an email from DocuSign or have remote access through Zoom, which will confirm the accuracy of the information that you are agreeing to electronically sign these applications as if it were your own signature. So basically, how long will this take? The enrollment process usually takes anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks. Now, of course, you will receive your policies in the mail and congratulatory letter, welcome to AIL, if you are approved. Now, if denied, you'll receive today's deposit back, and you may write to American Income to request an explanation. Now, obviously, with these benefits, you are conditionally covered from the moment our call ends. So the first bank draft happens immediately within 24 to 48 hours of the application. Now, your bank may not reflect the draft for up to 10 days, so please ensure the funds stay in there in order to ensure your coverage. Now, your first premium will be $80. Now, that item's where we can explain the application process. So first, if you don't mind, grab your driver's license, doctor's information, any meds taken, checkbook or bank information, routing information for me.
We might have to think about this and get back with you maybe next week. It's just a lot to kind of take in at once.
No, and I can understand this. So basically, no problem. I can understand completely where you're at. The only thing is, though, is like I said before, they want us to do this on an enrollment basis, just like the letter said. They figured they could do it in a way because they already checked everything out and approved it for the members. The company is rated as the top of the entire industry, 100% union, and over 20,000 other union credit unions and associations have approved this as well. Now, the insurance benefits have been checked out and rechecked, and these are the ones you are entitled to and eligible for. I mean, you do what you want, but the main thing is getting in on these benefits, but keeping it comfortable Now, remember, it's member owned. So if ever this becomes uncomfortable for you down the road, you can always change it later. Now, does that all make sense, Joe and Mary?
Yeah, if it's through the union, they set us up. I assume that we need this.
So, your program, of course, is set up right now around 1 hour's wages per week. It's $20 a week or $80 a month and has inflation protection built in. Now, Joe and Mary, is that all comfortable for you, or do you want to adjust it a little bit?
I think we should be comfortable with that.
Okay. So just to kind of, finalize things now, you may receive one or more phone calls asking to review the questions, that we've gone over, ensure everything is accurate on your application. In order to approve your policy, the company may need your help basically to getting additional records or medical information from your physician in order to approve you. Now, the company may send out a medical professional to conduct a physical, in the privacy of your home and at no cost to you. So it's important to be prepared to be responsive during the approval process. So what I'll do is, you will receive an email from DocuSign, or I will give you, the remote access to sign through Zoom. We'll review over everything to these benefits to ensure there's no confusion. The summary sheet will explain, why you're applying today, what it is, and once we receive their policy from American Income, they should keep them. Of course, you should definitely keep them in a safe place until their annual review happens. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen again. So, Joe and Mary, almost everyone takes advantage of this program. And, like you, because of the value. And the cost is very small compared to the many benefits. Now, it is very rare, but, sometimes a member cancels. This could be a week, a month, a year later. And we end up seeing these same people the next service period 2 or 3 years later. And they're upset because they have no further way ahead of them than they were then. Now, most people end up wanting to reapply for these benefits, but the problem is now the program is more expensive because they're older, but worse yet, some people can't even get them anymore because their health has changed. Now, the point of this is not a short-term fix, but it's a long-term solution. And the longer you are in this program, the more valuable it is. So is this $80? If it's uncomfortable for you right now, let's fix it while I'm here. How does everything feel, Joe and Mary?
I think it feels pretty good.
All right, well, great. Then, please make sure to keep this important program in place for you and your family. And the next time I see you, you'll be really happy that you did.